Now, the rest of the story.
Alright, welcome back. You can see behind me, 76 is hooked onto the bale carrier, and I got a load of my dad's hay I gotta take down to my place. The reason I gotta do that is because I have to shuffle, basically just get everything around to where we need it, especially before we get into the busyness of harvest, which I think I can answer that question. When are we going to start harvest? Well, we had a false start on soybeans here the other day, and as of like my backup pair of gloves, as of like an hour ago, Dad and I checked a bunch of corn. We went to the farthest farm, to the kind of far farm, to the farthest farm. I'm sorry if I'm giving you motion sickness here. The corn checked anywhere from 20. We had one at 24. We had one at 22, 22, 23, and then we went, hey, we have some corn at the home farm that the late season standability is actually a little bit of an issue. An issue being we got to worry about a good, hard, heavy wind here. So we've been checking this corn as of just lately here, like 2 days ago. And I said, well, just for kicks, it's like, where were we checking it? Because I wasn't the one pulling the ears. And typically it was Andrew. I don't know where he was pulling them. So I said, I'll go out, same strip, but I walked out like 200 feet out in the field. And you know how you just sporadically grab 3 ears, for how much kernels, how big the ears are. 2 ears would probably be good enough for a sample, but you want to get a little bit of that variety in just in case there's some that's got a little bit more moisture in it than what you'd really like. Everything that we have is black layered. Black layered is signaling the maturity of the plant, of the seed, of the kernel. Generally, as a rule of thumb, black layer indicates that it is at 30% moisture. Generally, I should get Andrew in front of the camera, and he can give you guys more of a detailed, in-depth reason as to why black layer is so important. Generally, as I was always told, is that it kind of seals off the kernel, so it's not taking in or any more moisture, any more nutrients, typically. So, depending on how accurate that explanation was to me, I just passed it along to you. So, I went out, checked this, and it did check at 20%. Now, we're willing to run at 23%. 24%, yeah, let's kick it in gear and run. At 20%, generally you gain some ghost moisture, as I'm going to call it, which is about 2% running it through the combine. I don't know if that it pulls moisture. I had a really good explanation of it from last fall. Somebody said that it exposes the kernel. I'm not really sure. It was a good explanation. It was good enough for me anyway. So the plan is, more than likely, I'm going to get up here nice and early tomorrow, which that load of hay is going to be unloaded tonight down there anyway and kind of spread out because it is a little wet from getting rained on. We had like over 22 to 25 inches of rain in the month of September. So any of our bales that were sitting outside through all that, I don't care how many times you wrapped it. I don't care how tight it was wrapped, because our baler is set to the highest amount of pressure that we can put on it. Plus I do 3 rolls of wrap because I like a nice tight bale that stays tight, keeps oxygen out, helps dispel moisture. And after having multiple, like 2-inch, 3-inch, I think a couple of them were more than that, at least 2 to 3 inch rains throughout the month of September, all of our hay that was sitting outside has moisture damage. So I am in the current process, in the last day, 24 hours, 48 hours, I am trying to move some of this stuff around, get it out where the air is getting to it a little bit better. moving the bales a little bit because they are trapping moisture underneath them. And I'm trying to get them to air out because, granted, they might look kind of scuzzy. I still would like to get them in under cover because when you have the winters like we have in southwest Wisconsin, granted, it sounds like the Dakotas are outperforming us as far as terrible winters right now. Getting net wrap off of inches of ice with inches up to a foot or more of snow on top of it can be kind of miserable. So as long as we have the room inside, which we are kind of short in feed, yes, I have feed of my own. I'm not going to be feeding it all out. I'm going to be able to feed it to some of Dad and Ryan's, and I'm more than likely going to try to sell some of it if we don't need it all. But it's cattle country. You can't have enough, you can never have enough feed. So in this area, there's enough to go around. If we don't need it, we could sell it and get a little bit of cash flow, inject that into next year's operation or next year's cash flow, or put it on last year's books and just make last year look that much better. So I'm definitely doing that a lot more the older I get. I guess it just comes with the territory. You start watching your inputs and expenses that much closer. You say that on top of everything that I had gone through. So I do watch everything I've been doing. I'm not afraid to run grass acres. I'm actually see it as a type of, it's another commodity. I mean, corn and beans are nice. I can market corn and beans, but if I know I can produce hay with a low enough cost production, and still turn a profit at the end of the day, it's worth doing. So I'm planning on buying some calves. The chances of me going and buying 20, 30, 40, 50 is less than zero. I'm thinking, being generous, I'm thinking it's probably going to be like 10. It's going to be at least 2. More than likely going to be somewhere around the area of 5. Just how things are going. If I can secure some more hay ground. Somebody was asking me that, why don't we seed down more hay? We did. Ryan picked up a bunch more cows this last spring, so we seeded down a bunch more hay this year. Generally, new seeding does not perform as well as an established stand. It just doesn't. It doesn't. And this year, on top of the issues we had last year, because last year our new seeding just kaputted, the stuff that we seeded down this year that does have alfalfa in it, it's done a lot better than the stuff last year. But we're having some issues with actually getting a new stand started. Now, if you listen to our agronomist, it's because of our harrow. Our harrow is too aggressive compared to what we used to use growing up. It isn't so much our grain drill, because I was leaning more towards, we all were kind of thinking maybe it was our grain drill, but we've had that exact same grain drill, not that exact one, growing up, and we never had the amount of problems or issues we have now with trying to get a hay stand established. Dad and Ryan are the ones that are seeding down hay, grass. If anything that I do, I'm going forward here, I actually have some waterways I have to put in. Probably won't be seeding down any alfalfa in it anyway, but I'm definitely going to talk to Dad and Ryan more about it going forward, especially anything else that they seed down. Definitely go with a beef alfalfa hybrid alfalfa seed. I mean, we don't need the high quality dairy alfalfa. I mean, beef cows just simply don't need it. You're just throwing money to the wind in my eyes. But what my best friend, my friend Ryan, does, they've done it for years and years, and I like that thought process. They're actually going through and putting the same setup like we do. They have the same drill. Put oats in the back, the alfalfa seed up in the front, but then they go over top of their oat seed with a coffee can of grass seed, a grass mix. I'm not sure what it was anymore. I mean, he did rattle off everything it was, but having that grass mixed in with the alfalfa, the grass gives you the tonnage, it gives you the weight. Beef will eat it, cows will eat it. Feed is an issue this year. I mean, even getting your corn silage made is an issue this year. There's a lot of guys that are really just getting started with corn silage, and it's already a third of the way through the month of October. So I mean, it's teeth grinding for some guys, maybe. I'm not really feeling all that bad. Hay is done. The disc bind is sitting back in the back of the shed, which is really what I meant to do in the first place. I have this little Nebo light from Herschel, which I actually have my other one. It's on the charger. I just grabbed this one out of the parts bin there, because this one is the designated one for the farm. I like wearing it around on my chest, especially for getting as dark as it is. I just, kind of call myself farmer man. Marvel hasn't called me up yet, but the plan is to go through with this, and whenever we have a rainy day, which is probably going to be in about a week, we're going to go ahead I'm going to go ahead, hook it back up with the 76, grease it. I'm going to wash it, then grease it, push any of the water out of those bearings that it might have in it, and I'm going to put it away for the winter. It has some work it needs. That overrunning bearing just behind the power takeoff, I'm not going to walk over there because I don't even have a way to open the shield up, but that is an issue that I have to replace, have to address before next year. The belts on the back end, I got to look at them and see if they're getting shined up. The original belts, a lot of that machine is original, and nobody's really asked me here lately if I'd ever get rid of the 735 for something else. Excuse me. That thing's been bulletproof. I mean, if the cutter bar really starts to give us issues, I could see maybe updating, but I just like the design of it. It's simple, it's straightforward. I mean, the thing's 11 years old, and it's been a really nice machine, other than just the wear and the tear and the dings and dents. So I don't know. If it works, don't fix it. So the plan is tomorrow, you guys can probably look forward to this, is corn harvest is going to start. The stuff behind the machine shed, we got approximately 20 acres on this farm of that hybrid that we really should get off, and if it's at 20-some%, dumping that in the bin at 21-22% even, perfect. So stay tuned for tomorrow night. The videos are probably going to really start picking up here again. I'm hoping I just got to be able to keep up with it. So until next time, take care, take it easy, keep in touch. I'll talk to you then.